轮之后会直接带着这个体验课程，让大家体会一下 ITI 的英语课程的训练跟外面 MBA 或大学课程有什么不一样。Now let's welcome Mr. Schorr.
Good afternoon, everybody. 我说英文，因为我的中文不够好，所以不好意思。可是有的中文字你可以看。好 ，OK. Sorry if my voice might sound a little different or strange. I had a cold this week. Anyway, so 5 people already registered for the test at ITI. Some of you raise your hand. You already registered? Congratulations. All right. And the rest of you, you're here for the first time. Many of you are here for the first time. Good. Because I want to explain to you why you should register for the test and come to ITI. All right? So probably you're wondering if you're working, do I need to take a year or 2 years and not work to come to ITI? Or should I go study somewhere else? Or maybe you're in your final year at university and you're thinking, should I study more? And if I do, what should I do? Should I do an MBA? Should I come to ITI? Should I go somewhere else? All right. Now, Marcel already explained all the details of an overview of ITI. I want to focus on the impact that the English program will have on your life. So, what I would like to show you is, last year we had about 700 people who registered for the test. All right? Now, in the end, there were only 318 positions at ITI. All right? But I want to talk about 2 students. All right? So we can call them Student A and Student B. Original. Okay. So, basically, Student A was from Tainan. He was one of my first students. He studied material science, and when he came to ITI, he was 24 years old. He had 6 months work experience. All right. Now, he signed up for the International Business Administration program, the 2-year course. So I want to show you the English courses that he studied at ITI. In the first year, these are the courses. So, as you can see, here we have different skills. All right, we cover listening, reading, writing. We have business-focused English courses and some practical English courses. All right. The first year we have 4 terms. Now we have general English courses, listening and speaking. All right. This is for general conversation. It's also a course where we can improve and correct any pronunciation problems that you might have. All right? With reading, we start off with helping students to learn to read faster, to learn to read without always using a dictionary, so that you can read and process information quicker. But I want you to see that every time, as we move along, we shift from a general skill to a business-focused skill. So even if it's a general skill, reading skills, then we move over to business reading and discussion, to teach students to read a lot of business articles, to be able to discuss what they read. Because in business, you need to take in a lot of information and then discuss it. All right, writing. We have 2 terms of general writing courses. This is also where we focus a lot on correcting some grammar mistakes and refreshing your grammar knowledge. All right? But then we move over into one of the most practical and immediately usable courses, business correspondence. Now, on your first day in a job, you're going to have to use email, right? Yes, we use instant messaging and Line and so on, but email is still very important. And how do you send a polite email quickly? You might need to write 30 emails every day. How much time do you spend to write one English email right now? So, The 6 months at ITI that you spend on doing this is going to increase the speed and efficiency and accuracy of your email writing ability. Then we have also a business English course where we focus on different business topics and the vocabulary that comes up in those. All right? So we could focus on manufacturing, or we could focus on marketing, or we could focus on IT industry. So it's different general business topics and the language that you would use when you're dealing with that. All right. And then we look at practical skills. Now, I'm going to mention presentation skills. Again, one of the most important, immediately usable skills that you would get at ITI. Because if you want to work in sales, you need to be able to send emails. You need to be able to introduce your product. All right? Now again, I'm going to ask you, how long do you think you will need to feel comfortable to introduce your company's products in English? We'll get back to that later. Okay. In the second year, there are 3 terms in the 2-year program. We carry on with listening and speaking. All right? Then we focus more on very specific business skills courses. Exhibition English, helping students to prepare for an exhibition. Basic sales English, how do you demonstrate a product? How do you greet a visitor who comes to your booth at an exhibition? How do you engage in small talk? How do you, with good questions, find out if this is a good potential customer or someone who's wasting your time? Yeah, you have to do that, all right? We have, of course, at the end of ITI, you do want a job. So we have job search, where we help students to prepare a good English resume, a good English autobiography, a good English cover letter. But more than that, also how to handle yourself in an English interview. Because if you are applying for a position as a salesperson doing business abroad, part of your interview might include an English interview. And then you need to show that you are comfortable in English. And that is what we will help you with. All right. Then, of course, in business, we have many meetings. In every meeting, you might be negotiating something. So these 2 courses run one term after the next. Because the thing is, with these kind of skills, it's very important. You can't just repeat the same message over and over again. Your price is too high. 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 No. In a negotiation, you maybe need to say, your price is too high 50 times in 50 different ways. That's where meetings and negotiation language comes in. All right? We also focus on telephoning. How do you speak to people? Because with telephoning, you cannot see the person. Right now, even if maybe you don't understand every word I say, you could look at my face, sorry, but you can see what do I mean. You can see how do I feel about what I'm saying. With telephones, you don't have that. You can't send smiley faces over the phone. So we do focus on telephone skills and being able to understand people and to feel comfortable to say, excuse me, could you repeat that last part again? To do that, you need language and confidence. And we'll give you both. All right. Then, in term 8, students of the 2-year program will go on an internship. All right? Now, the internship, as Marcel already mentioned, covers 3 different places: the United States, Ireland, and Australia. Now, here's the thing. If you decided to study an MBA abroad, maybe you have friends who did that. What's their experience? They go to, let's say, the University of North Carolina,
They live in a house with 5 or 7 or 20 other Taiwanese or Chinese students, and they go to class and their textbooks are in English, but they're living in Taiwan. All right? So, what is the benefit? What did they get? In an internship, after 2 years or 21 months of English-only policy, of living in English, students get to live with an English or American-speaking family. They go to work in a company where everybody around them is speaking English, doing business. That's a unique experience. All right. Now, let's move on to student B. Student B came from Taipei. She was 25 years old, and she was a Japanese language major. Now, she signed up for the one-year business major course. So her year was just 1 year. It's a little bit more intensive, all right. So what courses did she study? She also had the general business English courses. She also covered the business reading and discussion skills, all right. We do cover advanced listening and speaking. So general listening and speaking, still making sure that we can correct and help pronunciation. All right? Writing. Instead of 6 months, we do it in 3 months. And then we move over to business correspondence. So again, this essential skill is covered. The essential skill of presentations is covered. The essential skills of meetings, negotiations, it's covered. Exhibition English, it's covered. And of course, after 1 year, they also want a job. So we cover job search as well. All right? Along with telephoning. All right. So the thing is, although whether it's a 2-year program or a 1-year program, at the end, you've gotten all the essential business English skills that you might need. All right? Now, Marcel mentioned the point about having teachers from different countries. We do have a very widespread faculty. I'm from South Africa. We have teachers from Canada, the United States, the United Kingdom, India. And the advantage that this has, again, imagine the University of North Carolina. I'm nothing against the University of North Carolina, okay? All right? Okay. So, basically, if you come to ITI, you have 2 hours with me, South African accent, vocabulary, South African culture, South African way of looking at the world. Then you move over to my coworker Martin's class. He's from England. You have 2 hours of British accent, British vocabulary, British way of looking at the world. So at the end of 1 year or 2 years, your ability to understand different accents is much wider. Your ability to interpret the English that you hear is so much better because you have experience in so many different types of English. And that, again, makes ITI unique. Now, we mentioned the EOP. I'm pretty sure Harry and Roland might say something about that. All right. I don't think of it as a policy. I think of it as an opportunity. An opportunity for you to use English and practice what you learn in classes. And if you don't, I will find you. Anyway, all right. It is something that makes ITI unique. All right. Another thing that's part of ITI's DNA is the BBC. Every morning, students have to listen to the BBC, just for 1 minute, and listen to the headlines and try to think, what's going on? Now it's 2 things, 2 skills you get from this. 1, you improve listening, and because people on the BBC talk really fast. Okay. But at the same time, you need to know what's going on over there. How does something happening in England impact Taiwan? How does just before Christmas, we had the Huawei arrest in Canada. How does that impact businesses in Taiwan? These are things that students need to be aware of. And so making students listen to the BBC improves their listening skills, as well as forces them to engage with what's going on. Okay. Now let's look at the results for student A and student B. Student A went to work after ITI, went to work for an IT startup as a business development manager. All right. Since then, he has moved on to China Steel, and he's now living in Shanghai as a sales manager there. All right. But when he left ITI, he was able, this is a breakdown for his demographic, males 24, 25, 26 years old, distribution of salary. He was able to get a salary package of between 45 and 50,000 NT. Student B went to work for a shoe manufacturer, Taiwanese shoe manufacturer. If I say global leader and I say famous Taiwanese shoe manufacturer, I assume you all can guess who I mean. And she went to work at in their Vietnam operations. Now she was 25, let's say 26, and with the salary that she was able to get, put her in the top 1% of earnings for people in her demographic. All right? Now these are just two examples. The results obviously can be different, but I want you, this in the end is probably one of your concerns. If I take a year to come to ITI, if I can take 2 years, what will it mean? And that brings me to the end of this part of my presentation. And I think maybe what you would like to know is, so what does all this mean? And what does the ITI effect look like? Which is why, right now, I want to move over to just a little workshop. Now, what I'd like you to do is just take a paper and pass it to the back. Here we go. Just take a piece of sheet and pass it on. And the same here.
如果你们一起来的，请3个人1张就可以，因为我们准备的数量没有想到今天人来那么多哈。如果你是一起来的，大家共用1张就好了。
我不知道用中文说 "You please share"。Please don't turn the page over until I tell you to do so.
不要翻页哦，不要翻页，不要翻页，不要翻页。我们第一页的前面有写，请先不要翻页。
Okay. Everybody has a piece of paper that they can look at with someone or so. All right. So, yes.
我们后面有谁想没有刚刚 share 的想要多拿的？尼克，还有谁想要多拿的吗？那个佳玉那边，你那边有没有多？还有谁想要多拿的吗？还有谁手上没有的 ？OK。
All right. So, in 2013, The Wolf of Wall Street came out. And people in Taiwan just loved this movie. Right? Raise your hand if you've seen this movie. Oh, okay. Well, anyway. All right. So, in the movie, there was this famous scene. The guy goes, "Sell me this pen." Since then, this idea, "sell me this pen," has become something bigger than the movie. Everybody wants to know, oh, what do I do if I'm in a job interview and someone says, "Sell me this pen"? Okay, well, I'm not going to tell you how to sell the pen. But I do want you to talk to each other, and I want you to think about this. And you can talk to the people sitting at your table. You can even talk with the people sitting at your table and around you. 3 people, 4 people, 5 people. You can speak together, and you're allowed to use Chinese. Imagine it's your first day at a new company. All right, now for those of you who came with your parents, or if it's parents who came, you might be able to relate to this. But you're in your first day at the company, and the first training assignment is introduce the company's product in English. What I want you to just kind of talk to one another about what you imagine is what language challenges do you think you will face? What will you be worried about if this is what your situation is? So take a minute and talk to each other. And again, you can use English. 你们可以一起谈，3个人到5个人、6个人都可以。
坐在前后左右的大家都可以彼此谈一谈。
Okay. Now here's the thing. You may have, thank you, you might have talked about some different problems. Maybe some of the problems that you thought about would include this. What words should I use when I do a presentation to talk about my company's products? Is my grammar going to be correct? Are my sentences going to be correct? Am I using Chinglish? Or am I using English? Right? Maybe you feel, I'm not so sure if my pronunciation is good. I might struggle to say some of the words. Now, these are real concerns. But I want to focus your attention on the last 2 points. What about your impact? It's not just about you giving a presentation. It's about the audience remembering the presentation. So is your presentation going to make an impact? Will your audience remember it? And again, let me repeat that question from before. Time. How long will you need to feel ready to give that presentation? Because if they give you a week and they won't, it won't be long enough. But if you come to ITI, is what I want to show you, 2 days will be fine. Maybe 3 hours. All right, so let's see. Now, one other thing. All right, I've spoken to my coworkers. I have done some MBA courses. I've spoken to students who have done MBAs. If you study further, you always, postgraduate studies has many presentations. But they seldom teach you how to do a presentation. Now, you could take a presentation course. So, if you came to ITI, we would cover the basics. So, a presentation course would cover the structure of a presentation. The opening, the body, and the closing, right? We would teach you how to use visual aids, how to create a good, effective PowerPoint, how to create a useful handout, all right, and when to use it, all right? We'll cover basic presentation language, right? Telling the audience what you're going to say. Today I will talk about. My presentation will cover 3 main points. Telling them, this is what I will say. I'll be glad to answer questions at the end of my talk. How are you going to use Q&A? First, I will explain the company history. Signaling. This is when I do this, and then I do that. All of these things are included in an ITI presentation course. And these would probably be in any presentation course. You could Google it. But
do something. I want you to look at this script, and I want you to talk again to each other. And I want you to think, how would you present it? So, you have this on your handout. 2018 was a good year. It was better than we expected for some reasons. So, I want you to just have a look at that language, and in your groups, how do you feel about this language? How do you feel about this as a presentation? And again, it is in Chinese as well, so you can speak to each other in Chinese, it's okay. Or Taiwanese. Okay. So please, how do you feel if you were doing this? In fact, try reading it. Maybe one person in your group can actually read the English. Just see how it sounds. Okay? You have the script with you, so you can. How do you feel about this?
大家知道老师教你们做什么吗？上面这个议题啊，你们手上可以看一下，就是说你们看到的东西，照他这样子来演讲的话，如果今天换你要做一个简报，你觉得用这样的语言来表现你想要简报的东西，你觉得 OK 吗？如果你觉得不 OK， 你觉得应该要怎么改？好，这个是老师要你们现在大家讨论的部分。
Okay. Now, I'm sure you felt comfortable talking to each other. Now I need one brave volunteer to read this script for all of us. Who would like to do that? In English. Is there anybody who would like to step out of your comfort zone? Take a chance. All right. So, yes, there you go. Just read. All you have to do is just read this script in the English part.
2018 was a good year. It was better than we expected for some reasons. We expected low sales in the US market. Our Korean competitor planned to release a new product. We were still building our Malaysian factory, and we expected some steel supply problems. However, in 2018, we beat our U.S. market revenue forecast by 35%. The Korean competitor had problems with their new product. The Malaysian factory finished construction ahead of schedule, and we signed a contract with a new steel supplier.
Thank you. For your efforts.
送你一本绝版的英文字典。
All right. Good. So, is this on? Is that on? Is it on? Yeah. Okay. So, now we can say. So, what can we say about the presentation? You did great. Let's talk about the script. Used short sentences, which is a good thing. All right. Used simple sentences, which is also a good thing. Not just for the speaker, also for the audience. Because it makes it easier to memorize. Short, simple sentences are easier to memorize and easier to deliver. Easier for the audience to remember. Right? Overall, we can say this presentation is it's okay. It's not bad. It's nothing special. So the question is, this is okay. How do we make it special? So this is where we get to where ITI would go a little bit further. So, 2018 was truly an exceptional year. However, we did have a few problems at the beginning of the year. What problems, you ask? Let me tell you. Well, we expected very low sales in the US market. Our major Korean competitor planned to release a brand new product. Our Malaysian factory was far, far from finished. And we were expecting significant steel supply problems. However, in 2018, we didn't just meet our US sales forecast, we beat it by an unprecedented 35%. In addition, our Korean competitor had significant problems with the pricing, the production, and the promotion of their new product. We were able to complete our Malaysian factory much, much quicker than we expected. And we were able to sign a lucrative steel contract with a brand new and fantastic supplier. So all in all, that is a very good year. Now if you turn your page, you will see this script at the top. Now, on the screen here, I haven't included the Chinese, but everything on that is in bold is an example of an impact technique that I used. All right? They're listed at the bottom of the handout. I used rhetorical questions. What problems did we have? I used alliteration, production, pricing, promotion. I used doubling. I used tripling. I used dramatic pauses. These are all tiny things that can take an okay presentation and make it special. All right? So, that is the impact that ITI can have on your presentations. Now, if you came to ITI as part of the presentations course, but as part of all of the courses, you would be learning this, you would practice it, and you would use it many, many times during your studies and also for the rest of your life. That's the legacy of ITI. What
you studied and your academic background is going to get you into the door. But when you walk into a company on the first day, after that, it is just your performance that counts. Your study history is not a KPI. So if you are able to walk into your job on the first day and you're part of 5 new salespeople and 5 people have to do a product presentation and you walk in with these skills, out of the 5 of you, I guarantee your supervisor is going to remember your name. And that is how ITI can help you. You may need to start at the same level as every other new graduate, but you're starting with a secret weapon. You're starting with practical skills and a comfort to use it. That's why I think, for the 5 of you that already signed up, good luck and I hope that you make it through. And for the rest of you, I hope that you will also sign up, take the test, and decide to come to study at ITI. And I think, from what I've just spoken, I think you don't need to take my word for it. I'd like to introduce Roland, one of my previous students at Kaohsiung campus, to give you his experiences at ITI. Thank you very much.